Dragon Ball Super Broly is out in the US of A, and it is the #1 movie in America as of right now. I have seen it, and we are going to discuss my review and opinions, plus a special guest coming right up. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. As I said in the intro, we are going to be doing a review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, I got tickets open tonight and went, and we have a special guest today, which is Ghost. I play games with him most weekends, and he went and saw it last night. So, we are going to be discussing the movie. By the time this comes out, the movie should have been out for about 3 days, and we're going to assume that most people have seen it if they were interested in it, so we're not holding back on spoilers. And we're going to jump in and discuss how we feel about the movie. Now, we have not spoken about anything so far to each other. We've stayed quiet.
Nada.
It's been hard not wanting to talk about it, for better or for worse. But with Ghost being the guest, I'm going to delegate over to him for the opening topic. So, thank you, Ghost, for being here. I appreciate it. And I guess the question I've been wanting to ask you since you told me you got out of the movie last night is, what did you think about the movie?
Well, I thought it was good until you start really thinking about it. And after Dragon Ball Super, it makes you think. But it's like, the action is pretty good. The non-action bits are probably the best part for me. But there's a lot of like little plot things that I think weren't done correctly, as Dragon Ball Super did. But overall, solid movie.
No, I agree. I can agree with that. I would personally have to say that most of my problems with the movie came from probably the first half hour-ish of it. I thought the animation was beautiful. I did like the animation. I do like the direction they're going with it. I'm hoping that they'll have a budget, if they bring anything back, to maybe use more of this type of... It felt more drawn instead of computer made, like Super did.
It was like a hybrid.
Yeah, but the models, my wife mentioned to me that she thought the character model seemed a little off. At times, yeah, I could see that, but it's because it wasn't exactly what she was used to. But I could appreciate where they were coming from with the animation, and when they were doing action scenes, I felt that the fact that they didn't have to hold 100% to those character models kind of made it to where they were, I don't want to use the word elastic, but they were able to be a little bit more, what do you call it? Dynamic with it. Yeah, that's a good word. Like, they weren't held to a certain, realism factor. They were able to kind of go all out with it, and I was able to appreciate that.
Yeah, there was a few weird scenes, like arms being too big.
Yeah. When
they were closer to the camera. But other than that, it was great animation.
No, but there's a lot of other animes, like in this day and age, that kind of do that, making things look longer or bigger, you know what I mean? The perspective type stuff. And, as an artistic choice, I think that, like, if you were going to do that, this probably was the fight, more or less, to be able to take those liberties with. And I felt that it did add to the movie. I really do. So like you said earlier, before we started recording, let's separate this up into parts. So let's do like, what was your...
Before Dragon Ball era.
Yeah, there you go. What was your opinion of the Broly Exile / Bardock section of the movie?
Well, first off, I want to say, as soon as they announced that, when King Colt said he's gonna bring everything under to his his son Frieza, I was like, we gotta see a King Cold movie now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be dope. But yeah, there was a. I think overall the Broly Exile was good. Better than just trying to stab a baby with a knife and completely failing. The Bardock stuff, I did like. The only problem was they went full Dragon Ball minus for most of it, and that means they took away Bardock's good design and replaced it with just an average design.
Correct, yeah.
They took away the awesome green for just the lame. Also, for the Bardock, they kind of skipped a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of skipping during the movie. That, I think, was the biggest part. Also, no one realizing other than Bardock that what Frieza was actually going to do.
Seems far-fetched.
Yeah, because he called them over, and he was just standing up there for days. Because he had to wait for everyone to get there. They didn't just come in a day and he wiped them out. He was there for a couple of days. He never stepped foot on the planet. Some more people should have figured it out.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that. Because it did seem fishy that they were all called back at once.
Yeah.
And he noticed
and
that.
then he just didn't do anything about it. He just kind of stood there.
I personally felt that they should have left Bardock out of this story.
Well, they wanted to retell his origin because we had two origins. We had the canon one, and then what everyone preferred.
Correct.
So they just wanted to put it like a definitive. This is it.
I agree with that, but I think with the pacing of the movie, that they should have elaborated more on the King Cold handing over the reins of the Cold Force to Frieza to turn it into the Frieza Force. Everybody that's a Dragon Ball fan already has a basic understanding of Goku being sent off the planet, basically like Superman, and Bardock doing it. I feel like they should have saved that for either another special if they wanted to retcon the other Broly special, or they should have had like another movie before this movie with some of that. It felt like it was a little too much because they're basically redoing Broly's story, which I do like and I agree with, to where it's more about Vegeta than the whole Kakarot crying and he's obsessed with killing him because he made him cry as a kid, you know? Yeah. And I felt like it, even though we all know as fans why they put Bardock sending Goku off the planet, I feel like if from just a normal pacing and storytelling point of view, that part seems shoehorned in. Like, you could have technically done the same movie and even elaborated more on some of the stuff that could have used elaboration. Still showed Vegeta destroy the planet in that scene, not even showing Bardock at all, and people would know that Bardock was a part of that. If you understand what I mean? I felt like some of those parts were a little rushed.
Well, I think it was more of them cutting it out, because if you remember, King Cold's like, hey, Frieza's your new boss. Frieza kills all the snipers, and then they immediately cut to King Vegeta looking at his son.
Yeah, I mean,
with nothing in between.
It seemed a little weird to me that it's like, oh, well, our forces have got big enough to where even without the Saiyans, we're going to be okay, and oh, I'm scared of the Saiyans, blah, 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 but then you left what you consider the elite ones alive to stick around, the ones that actually served as the bigger threat to you, and destroyed a planet that lives in mud caves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can
not
kind of see
only that, but they immediately gave them the distress.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's
definitely.
like they called them all back. A couple of days later, like probably two or 3 days later, Nappa gets a call. Hey, your entire planet was blown up by a meteor, and everyone's dead but you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm not gonna lie, like, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit, like the reaction from Raditz and then the kid Vegeta, where it was like they did that forced, and I know that they did it for comedic value, but when they were forced, like, oh, don't you have another brother? And he's like, I don't I don't care. And then the way that Raditz, spoke, like,
He was still in the nursing pod.
Oh yeah, well they said that they sent Kakarot off. Blah blah blah. Like
I don't care.
when did Bardock communicate that to? And if he
Yeah.
would have communicated it to Raditz over the Scouter, I mean, we've already seen that those transmissions are monitored by the Frieza Force anyway, so somebody else would have known.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know, like, I know I look too far into stuff like that, but it's like, I don't mind when they go back to tell lore from the past, but at least stay consistent with what you've already established. And like, there were a good amount of inconsistencies with stuff in universe that was already established that I know that like Toriyama definitely doesn't think about minor details like that, but there are people out there, and I know from talking to you, people might, like me and you, will dissect the heck out of stuff like that, and it does bother me because there's easy ways around it to where those questions don't need to be there.
Yeah, like, here's a good example of what you're trying to say. Apparently, Frieza's right-hand men were always the yellow dude and the blue lady, and not Zarbon and Dodoria.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, two new
Zarbon and
characters.
Dodoria were in the background the entire time, where really they were his right-hand men.
Did you notice Abo and Kato from Yo Son Goku and his friends returned, the 2008 special, in the background in that scene?
I did not.
Yeah, they were standing.
I was too focused enjoying the Ginyu Force being on screen.
No, the Ginyu Force was lit. I enjoyed the heck out of that too. But it just, some of the retconning stuff, I mean, like, you're not just retconning the Broly special or the Bardock, I didn't mean to say Broly special, the Bardock special. You're also messing up other aspects of things, like, because there's other scenes in the anime that showed it being only Zarbon, Dodoria, and Frieza looking out over planet Vegeta whenever they were going to destroy it, and that was not just contained in that special. And now it seems like everybody in the Frieza Force knew that Frieza was about to do this when he made it seem before like it was going to be like an inside thing.
Yeah.
And I find it hard to believe that you've
Everyone but the Saiyans.
all those random people standing behind Frieza, and then over the whole course of that time, it never got out. They all stuck with an asteroid destroyed your planet. To the to Nappa, Raditz, and Vegeta. Like, that to me just seems like, all right, that's too much of a discrepancy to just say, okay, I can let that go in favor of the nicer thing. But see, to me, that stuff like that is what can take like a solid idea with a movie like this and actually bring it down a few notches from where it could be. And it sucks, but I mean, I look too far into stuff like that.
Like the two Saiyans being with Nappa as well.
Yeah, like, where did those? Who were they? Like,
What happened to them?
Yeah, because it showed basically that there was 5 surviving Saiyans on that planet. So, like, I'm supposed to believe that, like, even in the anime of Dragon Ball Z, like, Frieza in the flashback, it shows Frieza specifically say that the only surviving Saiyans that he knew about was Nappa, Vegeta, and Raditz. And it shows them back on his ship after these events took place. There's no ever mention of, like, oh, well, there was more survivors that got lost in battle. I mean, that's implied, obviously, with your statement, but
Yeah,
like,
those two guys are probably dead, and no one brought it up because Vegeta wouldn't care about them. Raditz wouldn't care about them.
no, but
Nappa just does whatever.
I didn't see a point in, like, they just needed somebody else to tell those 3 people about what happened. Like, Nappa wouldn't get that information on his own.
He did, though. The other two guys were like, oh, what happened?
Okay, so that might have been one of those times, like, the theater. Alright, so the theater that we went to was so packed. I am gonna, like, backtrack just a little bit. That, like, there were so many people in there. There were times that there would be, like, literally, like, 30 seconds after everybody would scream or holler, like, because a character appeared, or they showed some fan service thing, like Kid Raditz and Kid Vegeta, or there was people in there. I forgot about the demographic that we are a part of sometimes, and especially being an older person, I guess you could say, like, oh my god, Nappa's got hair, like people screaming stuff out in the movie theater, and it's like, then everybody will start laughing, and by the time you get that whole packed theater to settle down, like you've missed like 6 exchanges of dialogue, or even like dialogue that's supposed to be setting up a scene. Which, like I was telling my wife, like I can forgive that because like you're supposed to be under the assumption that that kind of stuff's going to happen, but I forget that those instances do happen. So like there was a ton of stuff.
He might have missed some details, but my theater was supposed to be packed, but there was barely anyone that showed up.
Yeah.
So I might have seen more than he did.
I did see that it was the #1 movie in America right now.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 days. Which is crazy because they like gave us the crappiest theater in my area. And there's only like 3 showings of it all week in the Savannah area. If they would have allotted more theater space or went to a better theater, like this movie could be making a lot more money. They limited themselves upon release. And I don't understand how the heck that works like that. Like, it's terrible.
Well, before we get too much off track, shall hop on back.
Gotcha. But yeah,
I think that's it for the beginning.
What about
Broly surviving for 2 days by himself and killing that baby was a little weird. No, they said he went ape, so that was fine.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that part.
I did like how it was pretty much Paragus. Like all that was Paragus is doing, and not Broly's.
Yeah.
But so the second part, we at normal time, where Goku and Vegeta are fighting. And guess who lands the first punch? Do you remember?
No, actually I don't. I think
it was Vegeta.
Was it Vegeta?
He landed the first punch that knocked Goku to the ocean.
Awesome.
And the only hit Goku got was a kick that Vegeta mostly blocked.
Yeah, I didn't get to take that part in because that was one of those times where the whole theater went crazy when it first showed them fighting.
Yeah.
I do remember Bulma saying that they bought an island with like, what was it, like thousands of miles of ocean to give them somewhere to train that they couldn't destroy something.
It was apparently an island they bought a really long time ago that was never brought up.
Yeah. Now, I love the fact... I loved Vegeta's explanation for why he wanted to get stronger. And I love the fact that it wasn't the same old thing he usually said.
I feel like that was him mostly dodging the question. It's like, why do you want to get stronger? Because Frieza's alive.
Well, he has to be pissed off about it.
Well, yeah, he's mad, but it's like, he was training before Frieza came back.
Yeah. But I was hoping that they were gonna acknowledge that in universe, like...
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Y'all do realize that we, y'all lit the guy that we used to be the scariest dude in the universe, like, alive again, and he's out there doing God knows what. He's gonna come back for it. It's like, he's gotten stronger before Goku, so like...
Yeah.
But...
the one bad scene I would say about that part is Bulma. This is like some time past the tournament. They just got out of the tournament, and Goku pretty much brings up that there was a tournament where the universe was almost erased, and Bulma only says what, and then never says anything about it again.
Yeah.
You would think that Bulma would be going crazy about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I don't think she knew about it, did she?
I'm not sure. I'd have to...
She acted like she didn't know.
Yeah, because I mean the way it was set up, I might be wrong because it's been a little while since I've watched Super, but it was on a different set of time. Like basically when they left to go to the tournament, when they came back, it wasn't like normal time had passed on Earth, right? Because they were in like a void where time doesn't matter. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know. They didn't really say anything about that, I don't think.
That was the impression that I always got out of it. Was basically when they left the tournament, they went back basically around the same time they would have left to go there.
Yeah.
I don't. Like I said, maybe I might be wrong on that.
I think it was normal time. Because if that was the case, a little bit off track, but if that was the case, then Goku would have been like, hey, 17, I know you want to protect this island, but you're only going to be gone for a few minutes our time.
Yeah, that's true. But the tournament time, wasn't it only like 47 minutes or something like that?
It was 30 minutes.
Was it 30? Okay. That's, you're right. Like I said, it's hard for me to remember specific details from Super from the subtitles. I'm hoping once I watch the dub of it, I'll remember a little bit more.
But if that was the case, then Bulma's reaction should have been a lot worse.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There's a mosquito flying around in here. I do have a question for you real quick while we're on this scene part. I don't know if it was the theater that I was in and the projector, but did Beerus's color seem like a lot darker to you in this movie?
He was darker. He was darker the entire time.
Okay, because he seemed to me like he was more of a plum color instead of like a lavender.
His face looked a little messed up when we first saw him, but I think it got better, or we just got a better picture of him.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something that was going, which I didn't mind. I understood that, you know, there was going to be a little bit of changes from the character models, and I just wasn't sure if that was me or not.
Yeah, but on the topic of Beerus, they're calling a destruction god now.
Yeah.
They changed the name to Destruction God. And they also changed the name of power levels, which I forgot what they called it.
Oh, I do remember them doing something. Yeah.
I don't really know why. Every time I heard that, I was like, why? Why are you saying that? That was a little weird.
I get a feeling from the way that, like, Bulma just handed the baby off to Beerus, that, like, Beerus is going to start becoming less important in the series.
He's going to become Piccolo.
Yeah, I feel that way. Especially after they made sure to say later in the movie that he thought that, like, Broly was stronger than Beerus.
Oh, I hated that.
Like,
I hated that so much.
I didn't like that at all either. Like,
well, the thing with Beerus is that you have this character that's so strong that no matter where he is, there's no threat at all. So they kind of have to relegate him to that kind of position.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he is still the god of destruction. Like, putting him into just like a comedic part at this point, like, I still feel like they should be a little ways off from that.
I think it was because of Resurrection F, because everyone's main complaint was, oh, Beerus is there, he's not going to let Frieza do anything stupid. So they're kind of like, well, we'll keep Beerus away. We'll let Whis in because he has no stakes in anything.
Right.
But we'll keep Beerus away, and we have to give a good explanation.
He had to babysit.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, yeah, so basically they find out that the Dragon Balls are stolen at Capsule Corp. They recognize the armor. I don't know, I kind of saw it, I thought it was kind of goofy the way Trunks was like, isn't that like the old armor Dad used to wear?
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, that means that the Frieza, he sent his low-class warriors to come and do his bidding, blah, blah, blah.
That was probably like, oh, it's a kid, he doesn't understand type thing.
I still find it hard to believe that there wouldn't be, like, so much security at Capsule Corp that, like, would detect something like that.
They got Trunks. He's the security.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, to be honest, he's the best security you can have. Like, if that was real life, you would want Kid Trunks there.
I would think at this point in the series, especially after, like, post-Namek saga, like, King Cold and Frieza coming back that one time, that, like, Bulma would have satellites up to where, like, once you entered, like, our galaxy, like, she would be able to know there's a ship headed toward.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
But, moving
Oh, yeah.
on. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
no, before we move on, that scene, that, like, whole thing, before the fight, they turned Goku even more into a kid. Did you notice that?
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Like, obviously, Goku was kidified in Super, but when they were on the ship, he got knocked down from the ship going too fast, and he just started laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Like a child.
Yeah.
And during the tournament, he was trying to be so secretive of everyone, and as soon as the tournament's out, he just says it right there and then to everyone.
Yeah.
He's like 2 years old now.
Yeah. No, you're right. I didn't even think about it that way. What about the Bulma on the way to the ice continent? Like her little speech about getting younger, only looking 5 years younger will be noticeable, and then like Frieza has a parallel.
Yeah, that was funny.
Speech. I found that to be amusing. I thought that was hilarious when he was like 5 centimeters, and then he's like, why not taller? He's like, because everybody will notice
centimeters.
it. Yeah, because I don't want it to be obvious, you idiot. I want people to think that I'm still growing. Me and my wife looked at each other and just busted out laughing. I was just like, oh my god, that was funny.
Yeah,
there were some.
Yeah, there were good jokes.
There were some genuinely funny moments in this movie.
Oh yeah, of course. Like the Dragon Ball Super does the non-action scenes the best.
Yeah.
That's the best part of Super, and this is a Super movie, so I can say that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But if you think about that part, it still doesn't make sense because he brought up, why don't you just go into your second form? Didn't very few people know about that second form?
Yeah.
And there was a chart of all of his forms. I'm assuming that was for the reader, but if we would have to assume that that guy knows all of his forms, no one knew about Frieza's third form, except for Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan, and Piccolo.
Yeah.
And Dende. They're the only people that know about Frieza's third form.
Yeah, because I mean, it's even implied in the Namek saga, the Namek arc, that like Zarbon and Dodoria didn't even know.
Yeah.
So
why does this yellow guy that apparently has been there the entire time but wasn't on Namek knows everything?
Yeah, that was kind of off-putting to me as well. It was like blueberry something.
I don't know.
The one with the weird haircut. Yeah, like it was weird because it was like she guessed the wish real quick. I did think it was cool that like Frieza realized that being immortal's not exactly like cracked up as that. There's downsides to that. Like,
yeah.
Like even he's got to a point in life to where it's like I'm gonna do my best, but if somehow I end up dying,
if you can even call it life.
Yeah.
Well, he knows by this point, if I die, I'm just gonna be resurrected again.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that. How am I trying to word this? I apologize. It does show character growth in Frieza. Like,
yeah,
Frieza does actually. I know a lot of people are annoyed about Frieza being back in the series and stuff, which I've always been a Frieza fan, and if done right, I think that he can contribute to the story moving forward, as long as it's just not every time he's coming back for the same revenge.
Yeah.
But I think that they actually showed they don't need him to be teaming up with Goku and Vegeta. They don't need to have him doing the proverbial, Piccolo thing. But at least this was a different side of Frieza. And it wasn't the same old. You know what I mean? It was the
tournament Frieza.
Yeah. And you can tell that he's grown as a character and that he learned a lot from his experiences with the tournament.
Yeah. He learned to not go after Goku, because Goku will beat him every time.
No, but he's also, since Resurrection F and the tournament, he's learned not to rush into things.
Yeah.
Because every time he's done that, he's failed. You know, because he wasn't even intending on even stepping foot on the planet until he knew for a fact he had all the Dragon Balls and everything was lined up correctly.
Let's move on to actual Broly then, since
Yeah.
we've been skipping over him.
Yeah, I've been doing that on purpose.
No one wants to talk about Broly.
I guess I'll be the first to say it. I've always thought, alright, I thought Broly was cool when the movie had never come out dubbed by Funimation. Like back in the late 90s when you could go online and get pixelated MPEG videos from like when everybody used to do like anime music videos. And like everybody had a story about like who these characters were. You could go online when the internet was still new and download pictures, and like you never really knew and you haven't seen the movie in real quality and stuff. And like I always thought Broly was kind of cool, and it was always one of those, like when I'd go to a friend's house and I didn't have to worry about dial-up internet, I would always ask somebody to like download movie 8 from Dragon Ball for me because I always wanted to see it. And you never really got a good picture of it, and do with subtitles and everything. And then you get to learn, you get to those points after watching the whole anime, and it's not just myths and you hear other people that said, yeah, my friend knows Japanese and can tell you what the movie is, blah blah blah. Anyway, because that's what we dealt with in the 90s, you know. It was like VHS copies of VHS copies, and there was a lot of stuff going around on the internet. Back then I was interested in Broly. As I got older and actually got the movies and stuff like that, he quickly became overrated, especially as the internet evolved and people were fanboys of Broly, and it's like, no, Broly was just a movie character, and you can't convince people of that. He doesn't have a spot in the main series. He never was intended to be like calculated in with like the progression of the other characters, you know. And then people took the intro from a video game, was it Budokai 3? When they had the Broly versus Gogeta, and like all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, we told you, blah blah blah. And like from there I just had a bad taste in my mouth when it came to Broly forever. And
people calculating, using facts and saying Broly absolutely dominates Super Saiyan Gogeta.
Yeah, no, I mean to me it was always just like, all right, if you can't appreciate the movies for what they are, and that these are just kind of more like what if scenarios at the time of the anime in that area. So it's always been, you know, Broly's just been Broly to me. Everybody else, you know, a lot of the other people.
That's why I always hated him.
Well, it's always been a really big known fact that like Western audience people have always, they cater Broly to us more than they do over there, because over there they knew it was just a movie character, you know?
Yeah.
I actually like this version of Broly. I like the fact that he was a sympathetic character, that he's not just this rage monster out to kill Goku. There's actual reasons for him to be as strong as he is. There's
not really.
Well, if you're gonna say that there's Kale over in Universe 6, it kind of makes it believable in Universe.
Well, we also don't know what Kale and Caulifla were doing. We know Broly has been going around for 41 years killing bugs.
Yeah.
And apparently he's stronger than Super Saiyan God Vegeta at base. As strong, or at least can get a few good hits in, Super Saiyan Gogeta when he's all buffed up.
Well, see, I took there to be undertones to this movie. Like, his emotional state and his rage, a lot of it came from abuse that he got from Paragus on that
It came
planet.
from Paragus. Everything came from Paragus.
Correct. And that the fact that his dad did mean something to him, but his dad also, in trying to save his son, he turned him into that monster. And I could, I like the fact that he's not a good guy, but that he could be useful later, but he's not just this mindless beast all the time, and that he does have feelings.
Well, once the fighting started, he was a mindless beast.
Right. But even Paragus knew that was because of, I hate to use the word rage, but basically it's more of like a raging emotions, you know what I mean? But that's what
he chalked it up to him being like, oh, he turned into a great ape, and ever since then, when he gets mad, he loses control. But also Gohan turned into a great ape twice, and that never happened to him.
Right. Oh, I agree with that.
Paragus is just taking shit out of his ass.
So then, then they come up with the explanation that part of Broly's power come from the fact that he was harvesting the Uzaru transformation without transforming.
And he didn't have a tail.
Right. So, I mean, would that have been different if he did have a tail?
He would have been weaker.
Think he would have been weaker?
No. I think it wouldn't have mattered because they needed a character as strong as everyone else.
I got a huge feeling that they're gonna start moving forward. There's gonna be all these theories on the internet and stuff that he would have turned into a Super Saiyan 4 if he would.
Probably.
I can see a lot of clickbait videos moving forward.
Yeah.
Because Broly in this movie, to me, I wish they could have gave a better explanation of his adaptation. I don't know if I used the right context.
That was so weird.
I think
then let's move on to the fight.
Right, well, that's kind of what I was
Vegeta
segueing
versus
into.
Broly.
Right, because Vegeta says that he's learning as they're fighting.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like...
He says this in base, by the way.
You can't learn something if you're so raged out that you can't comprehend what you're doing. So it kind of contradicted itself to me in that aspect.
Well, they could have just said... they're probably saying, oh, he's a natural-born fighter. So it's like he's kind of learning how Vegeta fights as he goes. And he said this when both of them were base, and they were pretty much even.
Correct.
Then Vegeta goes Super Saiyan, he starts bodying him, and then Broly starts bodying Vegeta out of nowhere. And then Vegeta skips Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and goes straight to God, and that power-up didn't even last long.
And his hair turned green.
Yeah. And it's all because Broly was learning as he was going. This is still Broly in base form. He hasn't gone Super Saiyan. He's still in base form, and he's stronger than Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Which, by the way, that transformation, beautiful.
No, that was one of the highlight of the movies to me. And I love the fact that it wasn't just energy blasts and punching. They actually were doing actual, martial arts moves in there, like a one-handed backflip with a kick going up to the side type thing and then pushing yourself out of the way. And you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
There was, choreography involved with the fight scenes.
It was funny because they were doing all the punches and all the choreography, and then Vegeta throws one ki blast, and Broly's like, oh yeah, I have ki blast, and starts throwing them all over the place.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny, because that's usually how fights go with Dragon Ball. They throw some punches, one person throws a ki blast, and both people are like, oh yeah, we have ki blasts, let's use them.
It's so hard for me not to believe that there was notes that Toriyama gave somebody that was like, think of New Broly as like the Hulk. The madder Hulk gets, the madder Broly gets, the stronger Broly gets. Because that's kind of how I felt that they were like, the character was coming off to me. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that, and I think this is where I kind of feel like, going back to what we were talking about earlier, maybe skipping out the Bardock stuff, I would rather that time to be showing something that could have happened on that planet That could,
Other than us just assuming he was fighting bugs for 41 years.
or the big dog, hairy thing.
I don't even think he fought
ear
them.
thing.
He
Well,
kind of just ran away and then befriended one, and they never said anything about him fighting anymore.
yeah, like there could have been something that, you know, the outlying planet had some kind of radiation that mixed with some kind of, maybe like
They were exposed to it for way too long.
it was like it gave off the same kind of Brutes waves or something that got absorbed into him or something. There could have been some even convoluted explanation that could have at least helped out. You know what I mean? Like the
Or at least
atmosphere
showed
was
the
different.
training that Paragus was giving him, because Paragus is not strong.
No, not at all. Like he's
And we
extremely
have
weak.
to assume that Paragus made Broly this strong and this good at fighting.
Yeah, I mean that's hard to believe. I don't believe that at all, because I mean, like, you could tell, like, not to skip to the end when, like, Goku tells Broly that, like, there's some stuff that I can teach you. That was like an actual, like, he was what do you call it, interested in that. He was excited.
Yeah.
He actually kind of smiled, like, oh, this guy can teach me how to fight the right way. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge difference between just being the bigger person that, as long as I can get my hands on you, you know, I can just slam you to the ground a lot, than actually knowing how to fight.
As in the Goku fight.
Right. Yeah, Goku. That was,
Transitions.
there you go.
That was fantastic. As someone who hates Goku because of Super, I loved it when Broly first got his hands on him when he was God, and just throwing him around and just hearing him screaming over and over again.
Yeah.
That was so satisfying.
No, I enjoyed the heck out of that fight, too. And, like, him taking Goku's face and pushing it through the ice, and you could see the, like, real pain in Goku's face.
Yeah.
Like, he's in God form, and he looks like he's literally about to cry.
Yeah.
Like,
It was fantastic.
I thought that was amazing as well.
The only weird part was when he locked Broly in place. I don't know if that was supposed to be the Mafuba, or if we're supposed to believe that Goku learned Hit's time lag.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, when he's first telling him, like,
when he
I know
stopped
you're not
shooting.
evil, I know that you're being put up to this, and blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, Broly flips that on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was confused about that too, because it's like, dude, if you could do this, like, it's kind of like when he first showed up to Namek, and he's like, I can read your thoughts. I reached a new thing of power, like, and he's never done it again. It was kind of one of those instances, like, where Goku's got this thing he can just do out of plot convenience.
Yeah, like, I think it's supposed to be the Mafuba, but then he just, like, he stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And Broly was still stuck there. So, are we supposed to believe he learned how to lag time on someone?
I don't know.
And then he did Hit's ball attack after that?
You know what? I never
don't
put that connection together, but you might be right. He might have been using some type of, like...
Yeah, and then, I don't know, I think this is the first time that Goku's ever, like, taken a ball and shoved it into someone instead of just throwing it. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, that means he was mimicking Hit for that too, because if Goku never did that or anything like that, then Hit was probably one of the first people that did that.
No, you're right, because it never cut to anybody else during that scene, which means that could have actually been happening.
Oh yeah, it never cut to... Vegeta disappeared.
Yeah. So that could have been like, nobody else might have even noticed that they were having that conversation. He could have been using some kind of time technique.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd never thought about that. That's a good point.
And then he was, if that is true, then he was doing Hit's insta-kill move. That, if that's the case, it still has a 0% chance of working.
That's interesting.
Because it didn't work on Jiren and didn't work on Broly.
No, I do want to... I probably should have prefaced this whole video with this. I have not watched anybody else's review on this video, because I didn't want me to take anybody's idea and say something. So if there's anything that comes up from what we're talking about, like, this is not something we're copying off any.
Yeah, this was speculation from me, when I saw the Dokkan animation from him.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, he does it and then gets beat up a little bit and then does the ball attack. But in Dokkan, he does the attack and then immediately does the ball, which is exactly what Hit did.
Right.
So that's what made me look out for that.
So what did you think about, I'm trying to remember the order in which it happened. The two scenes, the two awesome scenes with Frieza during the Goku and Vegeta fight and Broly. The one where like, oh god, I can't remember which one came first. I love the fact that like Frieza kills Paragus because he remembers what triggered the Super Saiyan transformation with the Goku thing, and then he like turned around. He's like, "Look what they did! A stray beam killed her."
Frieza should definitely be a grade A actor.
Oh my god, dude! And
he should go sign up for some sort of space play immediately because he was on poor.
Chris Ayers did a terrific job at voicing Frieza.
Oh yeah,
that was some like awesome. I was very impressed with that, and the way that it was so convincing too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it was basically like he's a little kid in that scene. Like, I'ma tell on you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then the part where like Goku and Vegeta got their butt kicked, and then like they fly towards Frieza, kind of like they did when Goku did that with the Frieza's attack, and then pulls up.
I want to talk about that scene too before we get into that.
Yeah.
So after that transformation happens, Vegeta finally decides, "Hey, I want to be in the movie again."
Yeah.
He shows up, and they're both blue, and then they both throw 2 punches. Broly punches both of them once, and then Vegeta loses his armor.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, that
you're right.
They probably cut something out from there, so that was supposed to be a longer fight. So that's why out of nowhere, Vegeta lost his armor.
No, and you know there might be a video like when it comes out on home video, like an uncut version of this, where like Broly gets his hands on Vegeta and it actually gets really rough or something. Because I noticed that too, because Vegeta's never lost his armor in any other part of this series where they didn't show exactly what happened. And I noticed that too. It was kind of jarring.
It was the same thing with Bardock when right before he was about to get hit by the attack, he had his damaged armor from the special, and then he gets hit by the attack.
Yeah. And then Vegeta, when Goku grabbed Vegeta's hand to pull Vegeta, he looked like he had gotten his butt kicked. Like there was way more to that than what they showed. You're right.
It was.
You're right.
He landed 1 punch, and apparently Vegeta, by the way they cut it, Vegeta just lost everything. He was done. He was out for the count.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if later on we get like an expanded part of that.
And then that's when they lead up to Frieza versus Broly.
Yeah, your turn, Frieza. Have fun. Like, oh my god, that was so funny, dude. Like, I laughed so hard. Like that. There was probably 3 or 4 times in this movie that like I laughed without even being, you know, conscious about it. I guess you could say.
And every time we cut to them doing a fusion, we cut back to Frieza getting destroyed.
Oh my god, like, yeah, and I love the way it got set up that way. Oh, you did it wrong. 30 more minutes, and it's like Frieza punch, punch, punch. But like,
you dare make me lift a finger? Goes gold, still gets beat up.
Yeah, but he withstood it. I'll give Frieza credit there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, it still goes to show that like Frieza still is, you know.
Yeah. He can still take the punches.
He can still take the punches. I mean, like.
And then we get Gogeta. Actual Gogeta.
Well, like, going back to what I want to make one more point. Going back to what you were saying, like the Vegeta part, like you said, it showed him getting punched once and his armor got blown up. But like, it was like an hour and a half straight.
Yeah, that is true. It was an hour.
An hour, okay, an hour straight of like Frieza.
And this is Dragon Ball time.
And he wasn't really messed up at the end of it. Like he wasn't really tore up, scratched up, out of breath. Like he was taking those punches. And I think that they did that on purpose to show that like Frieza's still
Or
like training or something, like
yeah,
low key.
or they cut something else out, because if you remember, it was Frieza getting beat up, cut to a failed fusion, Frieza getting beat up, cut to a failed fusion, skip to Whis being attacked by Broly.
Oh, that was lit.
When I saw that, if I was one of the people in your theater, you would have heard me. I would have been the loudest one there.
No,
If I was like one of those people that yelled, I was like, yes. And even though it was so short, I still love it. That was probably the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Just seeing Whis. And he wasn't even having trouble.
Nope.
It was fantastic.
He's just like, oh, you're so below me. Like, this is,
Yeah. He was like, oh, you're pretty good.
And then all of a sudden, Gogeta appears, and he's like, oh, you two finally decided to work together. Did you hear Bulma in the background? She's like, my wife pointed it out to me. She's like, did you hear Bulma? I was like, no, what'd she say? She's like, oh, Vegeta did the fusion dance.
Yeah.
I was like,
That,
oh, man.
that Whis was Dragon Ball Xenoverse Whis.
Yeah,
Where when you knock him out, he's like, oh no, I lost.
yeah. No, but
That
like,
was him. It was fantastic.
I love the fact that they're still showing that it doesn't matter how strong most of these other people get. Like, Whis is still, like, at the
He's
top
still
of the
on
food
top.
chain. Yeah, like, it don't matter. Like, you're not touching Whis.
Yeah. Even if you are stronger than him, he has Ultra Instinct.
I thought it was funny before they'd go back to the fight that, like, they'd sit there and, like, trying to figure out what their name was going to be.
Oh yeah, for a good, like, minute and a half. It was like,
Yeah.
what should our name be?
Well, when we do the Patara, it's Vegeta.
Just go already. Wait a minute. A name would make us sound cooler.
Yeah. But see,
And then they say their name, he says their name, like, once.
it's, well, that kind of goes back to when, like, Gotenks first formed correctly, remember?
It was the exact same, except
Yeah.
a little shorter.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, like, there's something that comes with doing the fusion dance that really does bring out the cockiness, you know what I mean? And I like the fact that it stayed within universe and it stayed in that context. I think that really helped.
And when he showed up to help Frieza, he's like, no fair!
Yeah.
After he's like, we're Goku and Vegeta fused together with our power magnified. No fair!
Yeah, you've been gone a while. You didn't know we could do this, and like the whole time Frieza's thinking like, oh, if I keep training, I'm gonna get him. And like at that moment, you could see the look on his face, like, I still got a lot of catching up to do.
And he was pissed for the entire rest of the movie after seeing that.
Yeah, like the very like he grabs his hand, he just powers down. He's like, I'm out.
I can't do anything here.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Like, I'll be back to get y'all one day, but y'all just whatever. That was hilarious. I think before we keep going, we need to discuss Chile, because if not,
Oh, yes.
the innuendos in this movie when it come to Chile's character and Broly, like, my wife found that very interesting. Like, I'm not going to repeat exactly what my wife said, but basically, like, she wanted some of that from the moment she laid eyes on him.
Yep.
And she claimed that as her man. I don't know how else to say it. But
I did like her character though. Like
No,
before the movie, everyone was saying, everyone was talking about her. I'm like, why the hell is this character so relevant? But I actually liked her.
she was the
like-
best new character in this movie.
Yeah. Why did you join the Frieza Force? Oh, I stole a ship from the Galactic Patrol. And as long as they know I'm part of the Frieza Force, they won't touch me.
That makes so much sense, though, because I mean, it's kind of got that Star Wars vibe to it. You know what I mean? Kind of that. Oh, I joined the Empire. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's got like that feeling like you're gonna have those lower class people and scumbags that don't even care about who the Emperor of the Universe is, or that it's Frieza, or that it's this. That have their own agendas, and like. This kind of brings that whole, like, their life does go on in Universe 7. And, like, you've got aliens out there and many other planets that there's actual stuff going on. But they, you know, the universe almost just got destroyed from a tournament that barely anybody knows about. but she stole some stuff, and now she joined the Frieza Force, you know, to hide out. You know what I mean? Like, that's so cool to kind of bring it down to that lower class type of person. But then she ends up realizing,
I want a Frieza movie, like a legit Frieza doing whatever the hell he wants movie.
No, I agree with that. Like, they've opened up the doors to have so much lore here that, you know, and the fact that she bonded with Broly like that, and even the little orange guy, I can't for the life of me remember his name. I didn't mind his character, kind of like that older,
he was cool.
That older, seasoned, you know, scoundrel. But then he realizes that, like, not saying that they're good people or whatever, but like he realizes that, like, all right, you know what? There is a right thing to do here, and it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm gonna protect this young lady and help out Broly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Type
thing, because I'm like, it's not like he's gonna make or break the Frieza Force, and they basically just got through watching their emperor be, lack of a better term, embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, as long as we're with Broly, at least Broly can protect us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going over there with him. Like, I just joined that gang.
Amazing, by the way. We'll say when we're at the end. You're gonna love it.
But no, the Chile character, like some of the scenes with her, the stances that she was in and stuff was a little, like, I don't know, it was kind of
like
a little too in your face sometimes. Yeah. Like, I think
the
they
character
overdid
herself
it.
Was pretty alright.
Like when she adjusted her armor.
Yeah.
And like, anyway, like, it was cute. I chuckled, but then I started thinking, I was like, you know, it's been a while since they've put that kind of humor in Dragon Ball, like, for the most part. Especially with a new character, you know?
It does get freaky when you think about it, though. When you think about her and Broly.
Yeah.
Considering how small she is and how big he is.
No, I agree with that.
We're not going to get into that. We're not getting into that.
All I can think about, though, with her character is that, like, later on, like, conversations of, like, her and Bulma, like, jealousy wise, like, let's say Broly does come back to Earth, but it's on different terms and everything's fine later, and like any kind of jealousy that Chile might have if, like, Bulma sees Broly, like, nah, you've already got your saying, this one's mine, or something. I don't know, I could see there being some kind of comedy aspect with that later on. Because could you imagine, like, a bickering thing between Chile and Bulma? That would be funny.
Yeah, and not Chi-Chi.
Nah, Chi-Chi. No Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi who?
She's gone. she's not in the series anymore.
So let's talk about, like, I guess the Gogeta. Let's go back to Gogeta. So, like, the Gogeta scenes to me were really, really
good.
Well,
right.
You got me. My mind just went blank when you said that. I was like, that is so common to say. They were executed.
There was one bad part.
They were executed extremely well.
Yeah.
They definitely gave 100% fan service in some parts. Especially after Broly. Like, it's hard for me to still feel after all that power up he would have been able to put up any resistance against a fused blue Gogeta at all.
Well, he didn't put up a resistance against Gogeta. When Gogeta went blue, he was dodging and punching the entire time. He was winning the fight. It was just Broly didn't go down.
Yeah, it was more of a defensive strategy. Like, he could take the punches. It was more like
he was he was taking the punches and he wasn't going down. But Gogeta didn't get hit at all after he went blue. But him being Super Saiyan, Broly actually got good punches that made him hurt.
Yeah.
How? He's Super Saiyan Gogeta.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like. I felt that way too, but I mean that's part of, like, having to, I guess, raise the stakes for, because if he didn't, if he was able to destroy him in yellow or regular Super Saiyan, there'd be no point bringing the blue transformation in. I think that's
Well,
all plot armor.
it could have been the same thing as him blue. It's like he's not going down, so it's like let's go blue to speed it up because we only have 30 minutes.
See, I think that they missed out an opportunity and he should have went straight to blue, to be honest. But what did you think about that little pocket dimension they ended up in?
I don't know.
I think I thought that needed a little bit more exposition. Like,
well, they didn't even know what it is when they went into it. Gogeta's like, huh?
well, in the Battle of Gods arc in Dragon Ball Super, just like Goku and Red and Beerus punching each other's fist was like possibly gonna destroy the fabric of space, according to the Elder Kai.
But I don't think Broly and Gogeta were really like connecting punches. It was either like one would block, they would block, or they would get hit by it. I don't think they were actually like clashing punches.
Do you think that they ripped space, or do you think that's something Whis did to try to contain it?
No, Whis didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it because it's never going to be explained again. We're never going to see it again.
You're right. I have issues with that part. Like, how do you explain? Like, I know they're not going to, but like, if it got to that point, like, to me, that's more dangerous than them being upset at like time traveling. Do you understand what I mean?
It was probably just a thing to make the movie look cooler.
Yeah,
that's probably what it was. And they were like, you know what? We're probably gonna have to explain this, so we're gonna be like, hey, the characters don't know it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where the Gogeta's comes in.
So like when they finally did the Stardust Breaker, everybody in my theater went nuts. Like,
I love that.
Screamed. And of course he survived it, which I was assuming he would. I mean, but it showed, that he is capable of doing it. Now, when Chile and Orange Juice got the Dragon Balls,
that's his new name now, Orange Juice.
I'm trying here, bro.
I like it.
Got the Tropicana. Got the Dragon Balls. I mean, it kind of hinted, like, basically that she was doing something for him. Do you think that the kill shot was a kill shot, or do you think that Goku still knew as Gogeta that, like, it wasn't Broly?
Well, fusions, they're not Goku or Vegeta, they're their own thing. So Goku wouldn't have known anything because he's not Goku, he's Gogeta.
Do you think that, like, it was intended to paralyze him, to put him down, or do you think
no, it's just a thing where he's so strong that he wasn't gonna take that much damage by it.
So you do believe 100% that, like, Chile saved his life?
No, I think he got warped after that attack.
Oh yeah? Right? I thought it was like right before the beam hit is when
I don't really remember that much. There was too much smoke.
Teleported him.
There's too much smoke to see.
Okay, well, I mean, I do plan on doing a follow-up to this video after, like, the Blu-ray's released or whatever.
Link in the description when it comes out.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this channel.
Again, there's some small details that I need to be able to watch without having a crowd of people, like, screaming and stuff. I know there's dialogue I missed, but I was under the impression, and I might be wrong. I'm not gonna. I'll concede if I am wrong. I was under the impression that before the beam hit, he made the wish, and it saved him. But
I wasn't really looking out for that.
I wasn't positive if it was maybe, like, prematurely made on her part, or if, like, she really did save his life, because about the time that happened, the theater got loud again, and I wasn't sure if I missed anything, like if it was implied that, like, he wasn't trying to kill him at that point, or if that was going to be what took Broly out, like they were going to go ahead and just kill him,
I would say that because this is Broly we're talking about, he just survived the hit.
Okay.
Because he didn't take a lot of damage beforehand, but when he got teleported, he had some damage on him.
Right.
Not a lot, but some damage on him.
No,
you know what it is? When he was teleported, he was back to base form.
Yeah.
So it might have just drained him of his stamina.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. That like basically what they did was, you know, you hit him hard enough to where basically it was like the shock collar was supposed to do. Like it finally triggered his mind to get out of that state. You know what I mean? Made him aware.
Well, I don't think it was more of making him aware. It was just like his stamina was depleted, and obviously every Super Saiyan transformation takes stamina. So it's like he couldn't maintain the form anymore. And then he looks up and he's like, hey, what's going on here? Where am I?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, because he seemed relatively confused by the time when he transported back to the planet. Kind of like he didn't really know what had been going on.
Yeah.
So.
Or that confusion snapped him out of the rage.
Yeah.
Like he was still angry after losing his transformation, but that snapped him out of the rage because he's like, what the hell is going on here? Because he didn't hear the wish, obviously.
Right, yeah, he didn't know what was going on. I mean, like, I don't even think at that moment, like, he even I'm not going to say he don't remember, but, like, the last thing on his mind was even Chile or anybody, you know?
Yeah.
So, Chile and Orange Juice jump into the ship and haul ass to go meet Broly.
And Frieza's about to kill him, and that's when he's
about to kill him.
Gogeta comes. In blue, I believe. It was in blue.
Gogeta basically, like, teleports right there, grabs his hand. Frieza looks up and just, like, knows there's no point. He's like,
you know what? I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
He just powers down, and he's just like he got, I don't know, like he got his feelings hurt so bad.
I imagine in his head, he wanted to punch him in the face so bad, but he knew what was going to happen if he did.
And it's funny because, like, everybody just let him go. Just like he got his, like, basketball stolen on the playground or something. So, Chile and Orange Juice, I think they said they stopped by to get a little bit of supplies, go meet up with Broly.
They had, like, 50 days worth.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I think it did.
This was the one bad thing about that character, Chile, because Goku brings a house, brings food, and she's pissed the entire time. But then he says one sentence, and he's like, "Thanks, man. You're a cool guy."
Yeah.
What about everything else he said beforehand?
I thought that it was I thought that she would have realized by now that, like, Frieza's the one that instigated everything, and that Goku was not their enemy.
Well, I think she just hated everyone but Broly.
Yeah.
She hated Frieza, she hated Goku, she hated Vegeta.
It did cut back to Beerus basically, like, praising everybody for he
was like, looks like everything ended up well.
Yeah. I do want to mention that, like, Beerus barely had a part in this movie, but he acknowledged that, which means he was somehow, like, in any other version of Super, usually Whis uses his staff to project what's going on, so I guess he was just...
Well, no, Beerus always
feeling everything. Yeah. That he could just,
And I'm sure a God of Destruction would know what would happening, even if it's on the other side of a relatively small planet.
Yeah, no.
He can feel the eruptions and whatnot.
He was probably able to sleep and be able to, like, tell what was going on at the same time. Like,
the baby was too much for him, though.
Yeah, that's what's funny. But yeah, Goku shows back up. I can't remember the name of the planet. I gotta watch it again. We'll take
started with a V, I believe.
Vernasis.
I had it and then I forgot it.
Yeah. So, like, Goku shows up, like you said, with some capsules that has food, a house, brings two. But
he only opens one capsule.
Right.
And then walks away with the other two.
Ah, I forgot. He never handed the thing off, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He just walks away with the other two capsules.
You know, Chile's like, how did you get here? And he's just like, I just sensed your Broly's energy. Yeah. Like, he ain't that far away. I mean, I am a god, you know? Like, I need you to be my training partner. Sorry about what happened on Earth.
That part I didn't like.
Yeah, it was...
Where he's like, he alludes to it's just gonna be Goku and Broly, and what's going on with Vegeta. But this is what I thought of. That I thought would be really cool. We still have a due date for Vegeta going to Universe 6.
Yeah.
So what if Broly is Goku's guy, and then the other Saiyans are the Vegeta guys.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that too. Like, if they're smart in a future arc, they'll take Vegeta out and have his own storyline going on, like with the Planet Sadal thing. Because
we need to see it.
Toei has to know that people want to see that now. Because they've been complaining and saying they want to see it.
But they would have to bring Goku, and Goku's just gonna mess everything up, though. That's the only problem.
Not if you gave Universe 7 a legit thing that needs to happen, and then Goku's got Broly to help him, but Universe 6 has something going on they need Vegeta for.
No, the reason why is because this is Dragon Ball Super. You need Goku. It's the Goku show.
No, I'm saying you would have two storylines going on at the same time.
That would be cool.
You could kind of get away with that. Or at least have a movie where Vegeta's on his own and he's helping out Kaba and all them on like something.
That's what I want. A Vegeta on his own, just going, and the entire movie is just them. But the problem is they would have to bring Goku because this is the Goku show.
Yeah.
And he would mess everything up. He would probably end up destroying the planet somehow.
Well, see, you know, I was hoping, because I mean, like, Broly's quarrel wasn't with Goku anyway. And I was hoping that, like, before he said the thing I'm gonna hold off on, like, he would say something about, yeah, I want to be able to come back and train, but then I was hoping he'd say something like, just don't tell Vegeta because he gets cranky, and then that's when Broly goes from being like smiley to like stern-faced again. Like,
well, he has no connection to Vegeta.
Well, he's been told his whole life by his dad that the Prince Vegeta is the reason they're there, and basically conditioned to hate Vegeta.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Probably
like,
doesn't hate him now.
Oh, maybe not.
Probably, yeah.
But, you know, and then, you know, what's your name? Then he's like, you want to say it?
Wait, what?
Like, they're like, who was it? Chile that asked what his name was?
Yes.
And he's like,
that was great.
Yeah.
He's like, what's your name? It's Goku, but Broly, call me Kakarot.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was pretty badass. That was
It's
awesome.
finally him accepting his Saiyan name.
Right.
It's not just like, hey, this is my Saiyan name, that's what you call me by. It's him finally accepting it.
Well, it's like Goku's excited finally that there is another powerful Saiyan out there. And he's actually going with the fact that, like, hey, we need to stick together, me and Vegeta and you type, you know what I mean? But you can make me stronger, and I can teach you how to make me stronger by teaching you how to fight the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, like, for a little while, it would be kind of funny to have, like, a small, like, if they needed, like, a filler arc for something, a filler style arc, to actually have, like, you know, Goku training Broly. Like a master and pupil type thing.
It would have been hilarious if, like, they brought up Jiren at that part. It's like, he's happy to train with Broly because he doesn't have to fight Jiren again. It's like, oh, yes, I don't have to fight him again.
Or Goku's like, here, I know the strongest guy for you to fight.
God.
And goes gets Manaka.
Oh, yeah. He gets Manaka.
I mean, like, obviously they're not going to want to stay on that planet forever. I mean, the conditions there are terrible and stuff. Do you see in the future, like, Broly and Chile and them, like, settling down on Earth? If they keep Broly as part of the cast? Which
if they
obviously
keep
they're alluding
going,
to.
I would say yes. Eventually. It wouldn't happen for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be, like...
Because it would be like subplots. It's like in between arcs, Goku goes over and does a little bit of thing, and then the next big arc comes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like, there was not... The cool part about this Broly is that, like, he's intelligent enough to be able to learn. He can converse with people. He is capable of...
Whoa. Intelligence is a strong word, alright?
Well, I mean, compared to, like, the mindless buffoon that he was in, like, movie 8. You know,
he knows what's happening.
He has concepts of things, like, that even... that go beyond the fact that he was raised on, like,
Tatooine. He has a basic understanding of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's as good as you could be when you're stranded on a planet for 41 years, and the only person looking after you is your father that only wants to turn you into a warrior.
Right. Right. But he understood the concept of he made a friend. His dad tried to kill his friend. He wears his friend's ear around him like a whatever that thing is.
Which that should have been long decayed.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I thought that it was gonna be like the story of how like he had to kill that thing because it was bad, and he like skinned it or something and kept that as a trophy. I didn't realize that was gonna be his friend's ear.
He skinned the ear. Maybe he like just skinned the ear.
Yeah.
But they never said that. Just like I wear his ear around my.
Don't you touch that?
Yeah, don't touch my friend's ear. Like that thing should have been long decayed. It shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, no, that's funny. All right, so this thing's an hour and 16 minutes. Let's
get it.
Let's wrap it up. So,
yes.
Final thoughts.
It's good.
Better than Resurrection F, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do believe that it's better than Resurrection F.
Yeah.
Battle of Gods, I think I like the fight scenes better, but I think Battle of Gods had a more stable story. It kind of knew what it was doing a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, most of my grievances with this movie is the beginning part. The stuff that there could have been a little bit more attention to detail.
That should have been its own movie just because of the fact that there's so much there.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Because of them adding that, they had to add like four. They had to combine 4 movies.
Yeah.
They had to combine the Bardock special. They had to combine a new movie about before the Bardock special. They had to combine Broly, and they had to combine the Gogeta movie. I forgot what was
Fusion Reborn.
Yeah, Fusion Reborn. I just remembered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like they try to help new people come into this. Like, you don't have to know the lore, and in other aspects, they expect you to know a lot of the lore.
Yeah.
Already, you know, and it's like, you're kind of like shoehorning stuff in that's not necessary, and there's other things that need more exposition that you're skipping over too fast. And that
was pretty much Dragon Ball Super Frieza. Yeah,
I mean
that's what they should have named it. The second Frieza is because we already had a Frieza movie.
Yeah. No, and that's you know, a lot of people probably are going to take it that way, that it's like they're just trying to shoehorn Frieza in.
Dragon Ball Super Frieza, Resurrection Frieza Part 2.
You know, and it's kind of funny, the irony of like the thing that Frieza feared the most, the power that he feared the most, and the reason he destroyed the Saiyans is the same power he tried to harness to kill Goku and Vegeta. I would give the movie, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10.
I was thinking 7, 8.
Yeah.
If this was an anime, because it set up a lot of stuff that we may never see.
Right. But
because they hinted that Goku really wanted to go to other universes straight away, but we might never see that. They hinted at Broly and Goku being pals and bros. We may never see that.
And we still have Jiren out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
in terms of it being like just its own thing, probably maybe a 7, maybe a 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid
its own movie. Yeah, but
I think it suffers from identity crises here and there.
Yeah. And I would say, you know what? I would say theatrical version would be a 6. Because there's way too much stuff cut out. But if they add all that stuff, even if it's just like 5 minutes per each of the cut, I would say it would go up to like an 8 or a 9.
Correct, yeah. If they can put some of that exposition that kind of makes things at times...
Or just the extra fight scenes that they cut out.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. And like I
So
said,
I would say, like, because so much stuff is cut out, and it's like all over the place, jumping from one place to another. I would say theatrical version 6, but if everything comes back, it would be an 8 or a 9.
and I would also like to say I think that it's really good to be the first Dragon Ball Super movie, because this technically is the first Dragon Ball Super movie.
Yeah.
Resurrection F and Battle of Gods were technically Dragon Ball Z movies that got
turned into a
Dragon
super
Ball
adaptation.
Correct. So this technically is the first Super movie, and if this is the base they're trying to start off on, and it is their motivation to improve, I'm okay with the direction they're going, especially with the animation, taking their time. They didn't rush the actual production of it. You could tell that they did take time with some of the key aspects.
Yeah.
And if this is kind of what they are planning on doing moving forward with another anime or another adaptation of Dragon Ball, this actually has me more excited than I've been since probably the beginning of the Future Trunks Goku Black arc.
That's when I would say it's a 7 or 8.
Right.
The theatrical version with setting up potential later on is like a 7 or 8.
Correct. I can get behind that and agree with you.
Like, as a Dragon Ball movie, as Dragon Ball in general, 7 or 8 because of the potential. And then probably, in terms of in-universe, only looking at a Dragon Ball thing with everything in the movie, not cut out, it would probably be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
As a Dragon Ball thing. Not just movie, Dragon Ball thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give them credit, man. They gave enough fan service in this movie, honestly, to where, I mean,
and they did a lot of it right.
They did. I mean, like, I was quite surprised, and I mean, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, even with the small nitpicky crap that like people like me and you can come up with, there's no way that you can't say this movie was not a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's like, we've had a lot of movies that came out in the past that, like, a lot of them are boring. I never go back and revisit them. And like, I think this is a movie that, like, I am excited to be able to see again at some point in the near future, and I can't wait to get my hands on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I really hope they add everything in.
No, I think that it would be worth their while to do that. I'm hoping so.
There's a very good likelihood that they won't, but if they do, I mean, everyone should go out and buy it if they do.
Yeah, I mean, they did do that. They did have an extended cut of Battle of Gods, so I'm hoping they do with this one.
Yep.
All right. You have anything left?
No.
To add? I would like to thank you for joining me on this video. I did enjoy this, and hopefully we will do this more soon. And again, when the Blu-ray or the home video release comes out, I think we will do like a follow-up, because I know for a fact I missed some things.
Yeah.
That it was unavoidable, but yeah. We will be back hopefully with some more Dragon Ball news in the coming months, and hopefully the announcement of a guaranteed new series. I'm really hoping this movie continues to do well enough to bring in the money to show that
Dragon Ball Super 2,
not just the Japanese market, but on a global scale, that Dragon Ball is still strong enough to say, let's move forward and let's do it. I know I got a lot of statues and toys to start collecting.
and let's do it right this time. We won't wait until halfway through the series to give an English dub.
And I can finally say, for like, legitimately, that I'm a Broly fan. I do like this interpretation of Broly.
For me, I still wouldn't go that far just because he's too strong. But everything other than his strength, yeah.
I like this version of Broly a lot.
Yep. 1 out of 10, good movie.
If you made it this far into the video, I commend you. I appreciate it. We both do, I promise you.
Cool.
If you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Throw a like on the video, it helps us out. And we will catch you in another video soon.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.